Is it StreamYard? Is it? I've never used StreamYard before.
I, you'd think I haven't either. You're welcome. You're on the Get Busy Livin podcast, and I'm Dr. Scott from the Healthy Habits Club. That's right. We look after your healthy habits, and we have a wonderful guest this morning. We have the wonderful Sharon Hawthorne. Thank you so much for your time and uh, you put up for us. So appreciate it. And such short notice. Thank you very much, Sharon, for doing that.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm happy to be here.
It's awesome. So we've we've had a fun StreamYard disappointing, but that's how we do as time goes on. We, uh,
I can't hear you. Your screen has frozen. I can't hear you, Scott, or see you anymore. Okay. Okay, this is going live and I can't hear you. I don't know if anyone can hear me.
Okay, we're back.
Hi, are we back?
So, so
See you.
yes, we're live for the last 5 minutes. We apologize. We've had technical issues big time. So, yes, Sharon. So, well, I'll just ask the first question. So, I'm glad that you're happy. That's all right. I just wanted
Oh,
to
many
ask you.
things
So, what tell
happening,
us?
hey?
So, just tell us, Sharon. What gets you out of bed every morning?
What gets me out of bed? My children, generally, because they have to get up and go to school. But 25 years ago, I decided that I wanted to have a family and I wanted to live by the ocean in Australia. And I wanted to get up every morning and go to the beach and just watch the ocean. And that's what I do. I get up every morning, I go to the beach, I grab a coffee and I sit and I meditate and I plan for my day. And it's just, for me, it is the most wonderful thing I can do for myself every single day.
But yeah, I do the same. That's why I live
Yeah.
on the peninsula because of that reason. Because I love to hear the ocean. It calms me
Oh,
down,
it's
and yeah,
amazing.
just being in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're on the sunny coast, aren't you?
And I'm actually on Bribey Island.
Oh, you're in Bribey. Yeah, it was the same thing. It's
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. It's just there. It's like
magnificent.
I live right by the coast. Yeah. And you see the dolphins swimming by. And sometimes there's a couple of times we've seen the
Yeah,
whales. The whales get caught between the Moreton Island and Bribey Island and they get caught and they swim past. And it's pretty special.
yeah. That's yeah. Well, they have the tours here from Redcliffe. They take you out
Yeah.
whale watching. So
Yeah.
they're
I
coming
tell
into
my
that now.
friends.
Whales are migrating.
It is, yeah. I get horribly seasick, so I don't go out on the boats to see the whales. It's not something that makes me happy. But I tell my friends back home in the UK that I live on an island in the Pacific Ocean because I do technically. In
Yeah. Too.
their heads, they're thinking palm trees and just, but it's kind of like that.
Yeah. Well, there are palm trees on Bribey. I have seen them. So
There are palm
that's
trees.
magnificent.
Yes.
That's right. Same with the peninsula. We got palm trees here too. So tell us. Just looking at your LinkedIn profile, and it says that you're an author, a manuscript coach, and mentor, and you're a training
Yep.
facilitator. Sorry,
Yep.
publishing
Yep.
consultant and book editor. So tell us, how did you get into all of those? Um,
All of those things. Publishing
yeah,
found me. In all honesty, publishing found me. I left school and trained to be a chef, and I worked in some of the big hotels, the big five-star hotels in London. But that kind of interfered with my social life, so I didn't like that, and I didn't know what to do. And then one of the local papers nearby had a vacancy for a page planner. And I applied with absolutely no experience whatsoever. And I applied and I got the job. And that was my first introduction to publishing. So from there, I worked in most departments. I worked in page planning and advertising and production. And then I started to write feature articles. I was never a journalist. I never wanted to be a journalist, but I did enjoy the writing side of it. And a lot of publishers will tell you this: when the magazine, the newspaper, or the book comes straight off the press, it smells amazing. And it is just the most exciting moment. You have this gorgeous smell, you have all these words on the page, and you've been a part of that production. And even now, 30 years later, I still get so excited about that. So that's where I started in newspapers and then magazines. Then I got into book writing. I wrote my own novel. Then I started editing for other people. Then I traveled. I came to Australia for the first time 20 years ago. And while I was away from home, I was writing articles and sending them back. And yeah, it always it was always there. It was always something that I could do, something that I really loved to do. A few years ago, when my children started school, I knew I needed to do something that I could fit around them. I was late to motherhood. It didn't come easy for me. And when my boys came along, I just really wanted to be with them. At the same time, a part of you misses that work side. You go into mum brain, and after a while, I just need to talk about something else. So I knew I needed to work. I knew I needed to do something with my kids. And I thought, okay, I'm going to start a business, but this business has to be really super flexible. I have to be able to work from home, and I have to do something that I absolutely love. I cannot get up in the morning and just think, oh God, it's another day. I've got to do this. I can't do that. That's not me. And so this is where it came about. The self-publishing industry is flourishing, and so many people now are wanting to write and publish books, but they don't know how to do it. And that's where I step in. And it's just an amazing time to be in publishing and giving people the opportunities that they might not have already had.
So, when did you come to Australia? When did you leave the UK?
I first came in 2020. No, sorry, take that back. 2002. So I've been here 22 years now. But the first 8 years, I was a boomerang pom. I don't know if you've heard that. I was a boomerang pom. Back and forward. I lived in Byron Bay for a year. Absolutely loved Byron Bay. It was more of a hippy dippy place when I was there, though. It's very fancy now. And then friends that I had in Byron moved up to Brisbane. So every time I came, I stayed in Brisbane with them. And then eventually I just thought, I'm going to make the leap. I'm just going to do it for real. This is, I want to settle here. I want to raise my kids here. It's beautiful, it's being able to be out all day, every day without putting on 7,000 layers of clothing to keep you warm. It makes all the difference.
Yeah. Okay, so you're fairly new to Australia. Did you live anywhere else except for Bribie?
I lived in Victoria for the first 6 years. We were here. We were in Victoria in the Mornington Peninsula, which is beautiful, really beautiful down there. There's nothing I didn't like about it, apart from the fact that the winters are cold. The winters are really cold, and I want to be outside all of the time. So Queensland gives you that, it's 12 months of the year. It might get chilly, it might get really hot, but you can still be outside. And I just love that.
Yeah. So that I've been to Melbourne before. I actually did my master's degree down there, so I know what it's like. I haven't been to England, but they say it's very close to the climate of England.
It is. The winters are long. I mean, obviously it's colder in the UK. We get snow. So Melbourne doesn't get snow, but that icy wind comes off from the Arctic, and it can be really chilly, and it lasts. And then when the summer comes around, you're like 42 degrees. So it goes from one extreme to the other. So either way, you can't be outside. But it's not to say we didn't like our time in Mornington. Mornington's a beautiful place. We really enjoyed ourselves there. Yeah. So, but the kids are happy up here. They've got great schools. We've got great friends. We've really settled in, and we really love it.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit more about your writing career. Did you walk straight into writing here in Australia, or did you take a break?
No. What happened was I stayed at home with my sons until they went to school, and then I started working for another publishing company, and I was editing for them, and I just wanted to do it for myself. I wanted to take people through the whole stage. And as over the last couple of years, my business has developed to offer coaching, manuscript mentorship, starting from paging your layouts and getting your chapters in space and your topics and your subjects. And, there's a whole lot goes into it, particularly if you're writing nonfiction and you're writing for your business. So a lot of people do this now. It's the only way you can get a huge, total, comprehensive version of you out into the world, because you can put everything in there. So then you have to think about where it's going to go, how you're going to weave your personal story through your industry, through what you do. How do the chapters flow? How does your paragraphs flow? It all gets very technical, And then when you get your first draft, what you really have is one giant Tetris that you have to pop about. Okay, this should go here and that should go there and that should go there. And then you get to the point where you think you've done it, and you look at it again and you go, actually, no, I need this there and that there. So you start again. So it's really good fun. I have the ability to keep a whole book in my head. I can read, I'll be reading chapter 8 and I'll think, no, that should be in chapter 2 because that works better there. And at the end of the day, what the author has is a really great product that they can put out into the world. And that's really exciting.
Yeah, that's right. And everyone has a story. I think that we should all be putting it on paper. So I agree with you there. So tell us about how you would, what would be the, just in layman's terms, what would be the process that you would go through with a person who would approach you to write a book, or you coach them?
So generally people come to me when they have an idea. They have an idea and they don't know where to start. So we sit down, we talk about their idea, we talk about their ambitions for the book. There's no point. It's like any product development. There's no point just throwing it out there thinking that's what you need to do. So you need to talk about who your audience is, why you're writing it, what you're hoping to get out of it. And then you have to adapt your writing to your ambition and to your audience. So we sit down and we talk about all of that. So we know it's a huge marketing game. You're not just putting a book out there. You want it to hit the mark. So we discuss that. Then we make a plan. And we plan through from the prologue, through all the chapters, all the way to the epilogue. So we know what topics we're talking about. We know how we're going to break that down, how we're going to weave the story, how much we're going to share. Not everybody wants to share personal parts of their life, but to be vulnerable in a story means that you can connect with people. You can connect with your readers, and it makes it a much more valuable read. So then we go through all of that. And what that does, if a writer hasn't ever written a book before, it's a huge commitment. And you get through stages where you have writer's block. You might think, I don't know that I can do this anymore. This is too hard. But once you've got your plan laid out, it doesn't matter, because you will always know what you've got to write. And if you're thinking, okay, I'm a bit stuck on this subject in chapter 2, then you can flip forward to chapter 7 and say, okay, right, I'm going to work on this one now, and then I'll flip back. So it just gives you this beautiful roadmap, and it helps you go along your story. And then what happens is I coach and I guide people through that process. So every week we'll have a call. We talk about how the writing process is going, what they're getting down, what they're stuck on. It's kind of, it helps that I'm really quite nosy, to be fair. So we can call it curiosity, or we can call it just being nosy, because I love to know everything about everybody. So I'm quite good at drawing that out of people. And then, you're back on track. And I think it's great to have that support and that accountability as you write. It's really, really helpful. So after you've got that, you've got your first draft, and then the editing phase kicks in. And this is actually the biggest part of the editing of the book writing process, because you think you've got your first draft, you've got your 70,000 words, you're excited, you're ready to go. And what you do then is you go back to the beginning and you read it through and you start again. And then you will see the inconsistencies. You'll see where it doesn't flow, where it doesn't work. There are different types of edits. You have your development and your structural edit, which we've kind of gone through in the process of the coaching anyway. So you kind of know where you're at there. Then you'll have your copy edit, your line edit, and your proofread. And that's where it gets very, very mechanical, where you need to know what your sentences are doing on the page. Do they have a purpose? Do they serve that purpose? Do they lead the reader through the story? Do they make sense? And then you come down to the grammar and the spelling and, the proofread, and you make sure that everything is perfect. And by the end of that process, you have read your book through maybe a dozen or more times. You'll know it inside and out. And I know it inside and out. And it's just a really amazing process. There's so much information. There's so much that people are putting out into the world. And to be a part of that is really exciting for me. So then the next step is you find a great book designer, you get a book cover, you find a printer. You can go through Amazon or Ingram Sparks and print online, or you can find a great local printer and go through there. And then you have your book, and then it's up to you to market it and get it out into the world. I hope that makes sense.
So easy. You make it sound so easy.
It is. When you have somebody by your side who's guiding you through the whole process, it's pretty straightforward. It's easy. It's easy for me. But I have connected with really great people as well, great graphic designers and printers and proofreaders. So, it isn't something you can do on your own. It takes a village to raise a book.
Yeah, I understand. So, tell us about someone that you've helped recently to write their book. Oh, don't drop names. Just tell us how you.
I have been working with this amazing business. Okay, I will do. She came to me with exactly what I've just described to you, with her story, with her idea. But she isn't a writer. She knows that she wants to get the book out into the world. So I kind of I haven't done this before, but it was an interesting way of working. We did a kind of co-ghost write situation. So there were her words. There was her ideas. She would send me through, basic chapters with her ideas, and then I would flesh it out for her. So I can do all the creative stuff. So she was putting the technical information in, and I was doing the creative stuff. I personally don't want to be a ghostwriter. I don't think that's the way to go. If you want to create a book, then you should be writing it yourself. That's what I think. So I would rather help a person write than write for them. So yeah, and we just went through that exact process. We got to the point where at the moment we're proofreading. We've got a great graphic designer in place. We've got a wonderful book cover. We know where we're going to print it. She knows what she's going to do with it afterwards. She knows who she's going to sell it to. She knows that she's going to be on stage speaking. She has quite a high profile in Brisbane, so she has a great audience, and she knows exactly what she's going to do with it.
Yeah, gotcha. So excellent. Tell it. So with your coaching, do you also help them with their own personal, because they have people have blocks. That's why they don't go and write. Do you help them also personally, or also because you said before you're a sleuth, you're Sherlock Holmes, so you have to find out what
nosy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm a bit the same. I have to do the same thing. I have to be nosy, because I want to find out what the root cause is, what the root problem is.
Yeah.
So, do you ever have to go through that with your clients to help them
Right.
to find out the why
Yeah, yeah,
why
you
they can't
do.
why they can't put it to
And you
paper?
have to be quite brutal. Yeah, and you ask the questions, and it may be that you need to know and understand a certain aspect of their journey, but they're not going to put that in there. But that's the reason why they're writing it. So, you don't want to overshare. You want to be vulnerable, you want to be open, you want to connect, you want to make people think, oh, wow, if you can do it, I can do it, you know. But you don't want
Yeah,
to overshare. So there may be a huge story. It's like an iceberg, 60%
yeah.
of that story will stay hidden, but you need to know it in order to write the part that is going to be relevant and helpful to your reader. So there is a lot of that, and it's very confronting. You write into your book, you put your heart and soul into your book, and then I come along with my red pen and I say, no, that doesn't work. Let's do that again. That doesn't work. Let's do that again. It's really confronting, and it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to do that. And I think that you have to be quite firm in yourself. You have to feel very safe with yourself to know that that's okay. I can handle this. And I don't do it to be mean and to be cruel, but just to bring the very best from the writers. That's where I'm coming from. It's it's a great process. Actually, it's a great process. But people also then need to really trust me, and I can say to you, I do this, that, and the other, but you need to believe that's what I'm going to do for you. So it's a lot of talking, I call it a collaboration. It's not just me doing the job for you. I'm not the editor that looks at your work, edits it, and sends it back. There's a lot of to and fro in. We work until we get it right. And yeah, it's a lot of hand holding, I suppose, a lot of hand holding, a lot of just being there for support, for accountability. I think it's a very important job. But then I love books as well. I read a lot and I love books. And if you're going to put something out there, you might as well make it the very best version it can be.
So we've got actually a couple of questions from Felisa Moffat. So she says, "Wow, she was talking about what you explained before about writing a book." She said, "Wow, that's a bit of a process. Can you help with artists compiling their artwork into a book, and who do we sell it to?"
Okay, well, you need to know who your audience is. First of all, who do you want to sell that to? And what kind of artwork do you have? Do you have what's the age range for the people that you want to produce for? Where will you find them? There's a whole lot of marketing research that will need to go on behind that. Do you want to write about your artwork as well? Is it a page of a beautiful illustration and then some writing? Is it just pure illustrations? There's a lot to think about when you put that book together. I'd love to have another question from you with a little bit more detail so I can give you a better answer. But everything I do is tailored towards the author. So it's although I have that is the process, it also is the process is slightly different for you. So if you're coming to me with a book of illustrations, that's when we need to ask the questions who your audience is, how you're going to get it out there, what kind of book do you want to create? Do you want to create a coffee table book, a big book, or a small book, a pocket book? What do you want to do with it? Yeah, so if you have any other questions around that, pop them in and I'm happy to answer that.
Funny that she does. Felice also actually asks, how do you protect our IP? IP, I'm not sure what that means. IP in regards to her artwork.
Your intellectual property. Okay, under Australian law, you created it, so it's yours. No one can take that away from you. You can buy a copyright for it. And that, there's always going to be somebody out there that might want to copy that, but that's yours. It already belongs to you. No one can take that away from you. I am very strict on that. Whatever goes on with my clients belongs to them. So when you're self-publishing, okay, so when you go to a publisher, let's just go back to a few more steps. If you go to a publisher like HarperCollins, okay, you hand it all over. They all own the copyright. You'll end up, it's almost like a job. You'll end up working for them. When you're self-publishing, you're publishing for yourself. I'm not a publisher. I help you publish. And so that's your intellectual property belongs to you. You can protect it. You can buy a copyright for it, but nobody can take that away from you. It is already yours. Does that make sense?
Yep. She also asked, so she's talking about someone else. So she says the artist is self-taught with her own style in the light gaming style graphics. Gaming style graphics.
Okay. So is it aimed at gamers? Who's her audience? Who's your audience?
I think so. I think that's what it sounds like, yeah. That'd be anime, I suspect.
Anime. I imagine that the best thing for you to do is do a little bit of research behind that book to see where the best market is. And then once you've done that, you'll understand your audience and your market, and then you can create the book to fit that market. There's no point just putting something out there that nobody's going to connect with. Yeah. So if you understand your market, understand your reader, I mean, you're obviously a very creative person if you've done all these beautiful illustrations. So it's something that you'll be able to do very easily. Once you've got that, then you'll know how to put your book together.
Okay. Yeah. She says the book is more about her as an artist. It's her daughter.
Okay.
She uses a whole range.
Maybe we can have a talk.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
Okay. Maybe we could talk later. It's quite hard for me to answer without seeing that or knowing more about it. But yeah, I'm happy to talk to you later if that helps.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you put your details in, I can connect you with Felisa anyway.
Okay, great.
She's on the Gold Coast, so I know her through a networking group. And that's why I know you. I know you through BX, Sharon.
Yeah.
So, you're part of Hinterland South.
Yeah.
So when do you guys meet, actually?
We meet tomorrow, every fortnight. So we've got a meeting tomorrow. We have a new venue. We're at the Woombye pub now in Woombye. They're opening especially for us. They don't normally open for breakfast, but they are opening for us. And I've seen the menu. It looks amazing. I kind of feel like I want a smorgasbord of the breakfast because everything looks so great. And it's a great little group. It's growing. We've got a few members now, and every other Friday from 8 till 10. It's perfect.
Oh yeah, it's up near the Big Pineapple.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so not too far from Brisbane. An hour, I think, from Brisbane. The Sunny Coast has 4 BX networking groups now, so we're the 4th.
Yeah. There's a few up there, so that's great to know. Well, okay, Sharon. So tell us a little bit more about your business. Is there any other stories that you can tell us about with you've helped with writing books? Because I know that's what you're.
Well, I'm stepping into the. I am very passionate about that, and I'm stepping into the training field. I've got a weekend coming up in July, which is, I'm calling it the Publishing Powerhouse, and it's for fiction and non-fiction writers to learn everything they need to know about writing and publishing a book. which is a really great kind of overview of everything. If it's something that you're interested in doing, you will have everything you need to take that forward. I'm offering co-authored books as well as entire books, because sometimes people just don't want to write 70,000 words. It's not, I like it, I think it's easy, but not everybody does. But being part of a co-authored book, you can write about yourself in a book of your peers and get the same kind of reach and increase your profile in exactly the same way. So we're doing that. And then also the standalone books. So there's, it's not just a straightforward, this is what we do. There's so much involved. And I work with fiction writers and non-fiction writers, children's book writers. I've just published with somebody who has written an amazing story for children, all about resilience, and how learning patience is a really great skill for young children to have. And yeah, I tend to find that I work with people who have something so important to share with the world, and I love that I attract that.
Yeah, that's so cool. So tell us about some of the books that you've written in the past.
I have personally written, the latest book that I published was an ebook entitled The Art of Writing a Great Business Book. And that's obviously aimed at business owners. And I can send that out for free because I just want as many people to know and understand the process as possible. I have written children's picture books, which I illustrated myself, a series of books about penguin and crocodile. Two very unlikely friends. I don't know how they came together in my head, but they did. And another book that I like to write, I like crime fiction. And so I wrote a crime fiction back in the day, and I'm writing another one now. So it's all very varied, and I like that. I like that about the creative process. You can put this, that, and there. And you can talk to different people. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and he used to be a journalist, and he went to the Hillsong Church. He was invited along, and he went, and he has some stories there. And while I was sitting there listening to him, I'm thinking, there's a crime story there. There's something there, So I get really excited. My head's always ticking away with different ideas and different things to write about. So it's very varied. What I do is very varied. And when I write for magazines, then that can be anything from, I've written for the oil and gas industry, and I've written travel articles, and I've written for yoga magazines, and I've written for women's magazines. And I like that I don't have to stick with one genre and one niche.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That okay, that's a big that's a big history. That's awesome. And tell us about the projects that you got coming up.
The projects I've got coming up.
If you're allowed to.
Well, I'm going to talk about the ones that I'm personally putting together, and they are the co-authored books. So there's one called Business Mastery, which is for business owners to share their journey and their expertise within, 5,000 word chapter. And there's another about for the wellness industry, which would include, healthy habits and acupuncture and all these different things that people need and are using to stay healthy and to stay well. So when I put these books together, they have a theme. And so people write within that theme, but also sharing their own expertise. So, if it's about wellness, for instance, that's quite a wide topic. It's quite a wide subject, so it'll be interesting to see who comes into that and what they're going to write about.
That's awesome. We've done well. You've done very well. It's been 40 minutes. We had a false start. We had internet issues on both of us, and also then my live stream didn't live stream. It just froze. I had to actually pull my other computer out. I had to stop my other computer, and that's why I was delayed for 5 minutes. So I should have had the other one ready to go.
Yeah.
So so I apologize to everyone. I apologize to everyone for a 5 minute freeze there. It's because my computer just basically froze. So I apologize for that. But yeah, we got the show on the road, and yeah, thank you so much for your time, Felice. Sorry, Sharon. I got Felice on my mind because she's asking questions again. So,
Oh, thank you.
so
This has been fun. I've really enjoyed this.
yeah, appreciate it. And yeah, so tell us who would be your ideal client.
An ideal client is somebody who reads, somebody who understands what a book is and what a book looks like, and somebody who has a genuine story to share, whether that's a fiction story that they just want to create, or whether it is something for their business or their industry that is going to be of service to their audience. And that could be in any way. That could be with information, with entertainment, with aesthetics. It could be, it's not just a single point there, but somebody who, they don't necessarily have to be a writer, but certainly someone who enjoys reading and understands the value of the book and what it means to create a book and put it out.
Cool, cool. So yeah, I'll come to my last question. So,
Okay.
have you got any ideas or information about how to sustain lifelong longevity? Mouthful.
I do actually, and it's not something that I've known about forever. It's something that's just really recently come to me, and I would say that if you can find something in your world that makes you happy every single day, and it doesn't matter what it is, it might be your dog, it might be your job, it might be the sunshine, it could be anything, something that makes your heart sing every day. If you can do that and you can find curiosity in that and you can open yourself up to the world, I think that's what keeps you going, and that's what keeps you young and motivated, because there's always something around the corner. You take that heart space out into the world and there's always something there to encourage you and maintain you and keep you happy and keep you going. That's my 10 cents anyway.
Awesome, very good advice. Fantastic advice. So thank you so much for giving us your time, Sharon. I'll get you connected with Felice as well. Talk to her about
Lovely.
her questions for her daughter, and also could you put your details? I couldn't stream to LinkedIn for some reason. There was an issue with LinkedIn, but I did on Facebook and YouTube and X. So if you could, I'll get my virtual associate to give you the links to the podcast, and yeah, if you can put your details in the comments, and so people can get in contact with you. So thanks very much.
Will do.
You'd love to do that. Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sharon.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much. So you've been watching the Get Busy Livin podcast. We had the lovely Sharon Hawthorne this morning talking about her business and writing. So a wonderful career. I hope it's going to be a fantastic career in the future. So much appreciated, Sharon, for your time. And thanks very much, everyone. Have a great morning.
Bye.